The following program is rated MWO and contains grown men marking out over other grown men that dress in tights and pretend to fight. The following announcement has been paid for by the MWO.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of the Mark World Order podcast, where pro wrestling is life, brother. I'm your horrible host, Brent, and joining me today, as you can clearly see, he is the super fan. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Randy Gates. How's it going, Randy?
What's going on, everybody? Man, it's WrestleMania season. Well, I guess it's not WrestleMania season now. We're post-WrestleMania season, but yeah, wrestling's awesome.
Yes, it is. It's been a long time, man. I'm glad to have you back on the show, especially to recap WrestleMania.
It's been a while, that's for sure, man. It's been a wild and crazy ride these last couple of months with me trying to finish school and doing all that good stuff. Got down to the wire, and man, wrestling is kind of taking a back seat, unfortunately. And now, man, I'm back full throttle. Let's roll.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's go ahead and we will jump into our WrestleMania recap. First of all, did you watch both nights, right?
I did. I watched both nights, including the pre-show.
Including the pre-shows. Nice. So, before we jump into the matches, overall, what would you say about WrestleMania? Like, give me your general thoughts before we dive into the details.
You know what? Especially when you got to take in the circumstances, I thought it was fantastic. I really did.
Mm-hmm.
If you would have put it on one night, I think it would have been
way too much,
strange and probably too much without the crowd there. You know, we've gotten used to a 6-hour show, and with no crowd, 6 hours straight, that may have been a little rough. I think the two nights was better. And, and I'm sure that had something to do with the different filming locations and having to edit it and that kind of stuff too. But I think that was a good idea. It gave me some time to digest and then get re-hyped back up for it.
Gotcha. Yeah, totally. And right now there's nothing going on in our lives, really. I mean, right. Some people are like, some people who are essential, their lives are basically the same. But for me, my job, I'm still working, but I'm at home. Everything I normally do has come to a halt. So I'm at home most of my days, and there's nothing to look forward to right now. Everything's been canceled, everything's closed.
I can't tell you how long it is. I'm painting rooms. I'm doing yard work. I'm doing all this stuff is please let Mania get here. Get me out of the yard work. Please rain.
Exactly.
Get me out of the painting of the rooms and all that good stuff.
It's even though the show might not be as exciting as it normally would be, and we didn't get to get together, at least it's it's here, and then not only that, we got two nights instead of just one. It's and that's what I got to be grateful for. It's not that it just it was my Sunday, it was also my Saturday. Thank you for giving me something to look forward to for 2 days.
Absolutely. And it may not have been the WrestleMania that we're used to, but it was different.
Uh-huh.
It was, if anything else, it was strange and just different. Not bad different, just unique different. It'll be interesting in 10 years what this will kind of be looked back on, how strange will this be?
I think just like any WrestleMania, of course this one was different. You didn't have the crowd at the Performance Center, all that jazz, but just like I feel any WWE show, it had its hits and its misses. And so Let's go ahead and we'll dive into that and kind of give our thoughts on the show. We'll start with night one. We'll just kind of work our way through this card chronologically. We can start off with night number one. On the kickoff show, we had Drew Gulak, who went one-on-one with Cesaro. With this match, I didn't pay a whole lot of attention, mostly because it's the kickoff show, and I just still have that habit of just it's kickoff. It's not that important. And
there's 1,000 things you're trying to do. You're trying to get the pizza ready or the barbecue ready.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But yeah, I'm with you. I was involved in it, but I wasn't involved in it. You know what I mean? It was on in the background, and I was trying to pay attention, but also do 5 other things at the same time, trying to get ready for the main show.
Yeah, and this was a match I didn't even know was on the card, to be honest.
I didn't either.
So I didn't know when they decided to add that on or whatnot, but I mean, I think most people were happy. I mean, I don't even know, because Cesaro got the win. I know there's a lot of Cesaro marks out there. There's a lot of Gulak marks out there as well. But I feel like Cesaro has this like cult following that I've never really been a part of, mostly because I wasn't familiar with his previous work in NXT and then also outside of WWE. And so people love this guy, and I don't hate him, but he doesn't really do a whole lot for me in any facet of his performance. And I'm not just talking about WrestleMania, I just mean in general. Like, he's a solid worker. I'm not going to take that from him. But, it's just this match I didn't need it. So
it was interesting. He's got that, like you said, he's got that cult following, but he's always kind of seemed like he was missing just a little something. And then, like, all of a sudden, when they had the Cesaro section signs, like, he started to, like, get it all together. And then all of a sudden, it seemed like they kind of pulled the rug out from under him. And it was like, man, right when he was getting hot.
Yeah.
And then they threw him in with, like, Sheamus and Cesaro. And then I wasn't really on, but we had talked about that. I wasn't really on board with that. And then everybody else kind of got on. I was like, I'm not really feeling it. And then I started to get into it, but it took me a while. And then I felt right when I was in full board, I don't know if it was Sheamus got hurt or whatever it was, but they kind of dissolved it. It was like, man, like right when that dude's like really getting his break, I felt everything just kind of dissolves or something doesn't quite work right. But I don't know. I think he'll go down as one of those. I hope he doesn't, because I hope they get it together. But I think he's going to go down to one of those guys who the woulda, coulda, shouldas, unless he gets something happens and he doesn't sign his contract and he's
goes over to AEW.
AEW kind of thing. Yeah.
That's the prediction right there. Randy, you heard it here first. Randy saying Cesaro to AEW. What was I gonna say? The one positive, I shouldn't say the one positive. The positive I took away from this match is it gave us a break from Corey Graves and Rosenberg, or what's his name?
Yeah, Rosenberg.
Yeah. So that was the main positive for this match. But anyways, what this will jump ahead a little bit. The one pop I got from the kickoff show, and I think it was on night 2, is when, I don't know if you were paying attention, but Corey Graves was talking about mixing business with pleasure. When he was talking, you didn't hear it? Oh my gosh! So they were talking about Otis and Dolph Ziggler, and Corey Graves was talking about like Otis. His main problem is he's distracted by a woman. He's mixed business with pleasure, and that is something I've always said you should never do. Which is funny because of him and Carmella. It was really, that was like one of the good things. But that was on night 2. Anyways, that was one of the good parts from the kickoff show. On night 1, getting back into it, something I was surprised about. We kicked off the show, the main card, with the women's tag team titles. We had Kabuki Warriors taking on Alexa Bliss and what's her name, Nikki Cross, and a fine match. I mean, nothing incredibly stood out to me.
No.
I really don't have anything to necessarily add to what this match presented. I did notice a cut in the match, but
I didn't notice that.
I like right before Kairi Sane jumped off the top ropes, it seemed like there was a cut. Like there was a camera angle change, and it seemed like there was. Anyways, if you go back and watch it, you might be able to check it to find it. And I could be wrong. I don't know. It just seemed like it. But the match, solid match, nothing to complain about, nothing that knocked my socks off either, though. And we got new champs.
No, I thought the only thing that really stuck out in my mind is I thought when Alexa Bliss hit the Twisted Bliss? Is that what it's called? I thought it looked rough. Not rough as in like a good rough. Like, man, she
missed it.
It was like, wow, that was solid. No, I like that. That was solid. And but that's all I really took away from that. Like nothing. I hate to be overly critical or anything like that, but I didn't find anything critical. I liked it. It was fun. It was a good way to start it off. Kind of get the ball rolling. You started to really. You haven't seen, or I haven't seen too many empty arena matches, in the past. And then right when we started this, you could really hear the thuds,
Yeah.
And I'm sure the ring was mic'd and stuff to pick that up, but man, some of the stuff just looks solid, It's like, woo. That's the parts where I kind of like when the people are like, oh, it's fake and this and that. It's like when you get those rings mic'd up and you can start to really hear the contact. It's like, okay, maybe we have a predetermined winner, but some of the stuff's pretty snug.
Oh yeah, of course.
Alexa Bliss, I think she took like right hook from Oscar or something. It looked like it was solid.
Like it connected.
Woo. All right.
They're just
WrestleMania, boys. Let's go.
They're just working you, Randy. They're so good at their craft.
They got me hook, line, and sinker. I'll take it.
So we got new champions. You like the booking on that one? You agree with the outcome?
I do. The only part that I'm a little weird, I like Nikki Cross as that crazy, and maybe it's just because I like the NXT character, but man, she played that wild, crazy person so well. I'm just waiting for that to kind of. I liked that character. Not that I don't like her now, but really enjoyed that character.
Gotcha.
I love that. Not necessarily break up and feud like the standard formula, for tag teams, but I don't dislike them. But I'd like to see her out on her own too, because man, I think her with her wild and crazy ways is really good.
Gotcha. And then Nikki and Alexa Bliss, you're the booker. Who do you think they should go? Like, what's next for them as champions? Who's like the feud storyline? What would you do? Just quick synopsis.
That's a really good question. I don't know, because it seems like aside from them and the Kabuki Warriors, it seems like there's a lot of, and maybe the Iconics, but it seems like there's a lot of just on the women's side, a lot of throwing partners, just a couple of people together. And so I'm not super familiar with teams per se, or long teams with them. So I don't know who you would go in there other than maybe like a Sasha and a Bayley, but they've got the world title around Bayley's waist. So it doesn't, I would say, okay, well, that would be the perfect way to finally cap off their split, is to put them in like a tag title match, and where somebody's blaming the other one, hey, you blew the title match for us, and that's where they create the split. But with the world title in there, it's probably not necessary.
Yeah.
And I don't know where you go from here. I don't know if you look to build up some of the other teams, and now they're the kind of the end goal. I don't know.
Yeah. And they just broke up like a team last night too at WrestleMania with Fire and Desire. So yeah, it's getting slimmer pickings, but I'm sure there's something they can figure out, something they can put together. I wouldn't really know what to book them in either, to be honest. To be like, I feel like Vince has kind of put those titles on the back burner as it is. Hasn't really given them too much attention. So
yeah. Anyways,
all right, moving on to the next match of the night. Then we had King Corbin versus Elias. I really don't have anything to add about this match. It was for nothing. It kind of meant nothing, but
it was one of those where it was a little unimportant. But I think it was one of those where I was not on board with Corbin whatsoever, and slowly he just worn me down. It's just like he is a fantastic heel. And just some of the stuff, he was commenting with he was very aware that there was nobody in the arena, and you could hear what he was saying, and he just berate the referee. I remember at one time, he got Elias gets the shoulder up, and he gets in her face, and he's just like, count, it's not that hard, and he's just like, it's beautiful. It's something that a really bad sport would love to say to a referee.
Yeah, totally.
They got the short end of the stick, where it's like, it's not that hard. Why is this difficult? But you never do it, because that's not really that's not the right thing to say. And as that heel, he just hits it perfectly. I thought it was great.
Yeah. He's really come a long way. I remember when he first came into the company, I didn't see, he seemed so dry and boring, and now he's doing pretty good. So, Elias gets the win. Not to anyone's surprise. I should mention too at the top of the show, and I'm surprised I don't have it with me right now. It's in the other room. We got the pay-per-view prediction championship back. That's what the MWO. I shouldn't say we got it back. We retained. So anyways, so just so everyone knows that. Let's see here.
Becky Lynch of WrestleMania.
What's that?
So we are the Becky Lynch of the WrestleMania predictions. Nobody thought we retained.
Next match. Actually, speaking of Becky Lynch, the next match was the Raw Women's Championship. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. I was about 99% sure that Shayna Baszler was going to win this match. Going into it, I even picked her to win on our prediction sheet. And I'm fine with Becky retaining. And I guess given that Kyrie
beat Shayna Baszler the same way, it makes sense, but I still just didn't like it. I just felt like it was kind of cheap. A cheap win and a quick match. I thought the match was going to go longer than it did.
Yeah, I thought the pin was kind of like you said, it's strange is not the right word, but I thought it was kind of like, okay, we've seen that a few times. And you would think to me, you would think with somebody as good as like Shayna Baszler would be, with submissions and different things, that it's more along that funny saying where it's the fool me once, shame on me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I figured she would have figured out a way. And so I didn't buy that too much. It was like, yeah, by now she would have known how to get out of that, or been aware that was, able to happen to her. So she would have figured out a way to get out.
Yeah, and
so, but the only thing I was with you. I was about 90% sure is she was going to take home the belt. And I just think maybe with the lack of the crowd or something, they wanted the bad the heel reaction. And so it's maybe just going to move some pieces around and get her that in a different time.
Like at Money in the Bank or something?
Something like that.
Like, does this feud continue? Like, I didn't watch Raw tonight. I don't know exactly all the details that happened.
I caught the first hour, but that was it.
You caught the what now?
I caught the first hour.
Okay, did they have anything with Becky Lynch in that hour?
Not that I saw, no.
Okay, Nia Jax made her return tonight. I know that much. I don't know what she did, though. So, I don't know.
I hopped on Shop Zone because I'm a mark.
Yeah.
I hopped on Shop Zone like right before we started to set this up, and I saw her with somebody on her back.
Okay.
She was doing something to somebody, but I couldn't see who it was.
Gotcha. You weren't shopping on the ProWrestlingTees.com/Mark World Order? You weren't cruising that? They aren't cruising that one?
No. You know what? As much as a mark I am, they got some, we've all seen the I Was There t-shirts, from different, and they came out with one for 36 that said I wasn't there, and it's got all the logo and everything.
Did you buy it?
I haven't yet.
You haven't pulled the trigger yet? It's sitting in the cart. You're deliberating in your head, like the pros and the cons. Like I want this. How mad is my wife going to get at me? How much money do we have?
One of those things, do I buy this and only this? Or since I'm already going to get yelled at, do I buy this and a couple more things that are maybe on sale or clearance and be like, hey, how many was on sale? This is the only thing that I bought that wasn't on sale. Let's see if I can do that one.
Don't they got the BOGO right now for $1?
Yeah, and it's not part of the deal. Like
what?
Like, oh no, it gets. Don't get me on that.
Oh
don't
my gosh.
They send me the link in my email and everything of the BOGO with this t-shirt's logo on it. So I'm like, sweet. And so I throw it in my car. Yeah, that's
false
not
advertising. That's clickbait.
Yeah. Oh, it's huge. It was like, oh, BOGO. Something. Oh, fantastic. And it's not one of the ones. It's one of the ones listed as not BOGO.
Lame.
Come on.
Lame. Come on, WWE. Do better. Since we're talking about WWE Shop, I should tell my story. I bought a Rusev shirt. It's one of those like stained rustic looking shirts. Here, I actually got it right here.
Okay.
I got this bad boy. Can you see it? I
can.
It's got like Rusev. It's a really cool design. It's one of those shirts. You can't see it because my back drops kind of cropping it out. But it's it's acid wash. I think that's what it's called. Acid wash tees. And it's a really cool design. You can kind of see it there.
Almost a little bit of a vintage or a throwback kind of style to it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And my screen's not doing it justice because of my stupid background. There we go. Anyways, it's a good shirt. I ordered it from the WWE Shop. And I ordered a 3XL because I'm a fat ass. And they shipped me a 2XL. But on the baggie it says it's a 3XL. But on the shirt it's a 2X. So I had to send them a message, email saying, hey, I got the wrong size. And they're like, oh, send us a photo. So I did. And they're like, all right, we'll ship you another one. Sorry. And I just got it in the mail today. Same thing. It's a 2X shirt and a 3X package. So I'm just thinking they have it marked wrong, and they don't know or they don't care. But because they're not going to make that same mistake twice.
No.
So
it's a box or in a pile that's or in a section that's just completely wrong.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my recent Rusev. Like when I saw that shirt a couple weeks ago, I said, "Why didn't anyone tell me about that shirt? I love that shirt. It's a great design. Now I have to lose some weight so I can wear it. Maybe I should wear that shirt to lose weight. I don't know, but man, this quarantine, it is killing me, dude. I'm like going. I'm doing pretty good. Like I'm going out and walking and get some exercise and stuff like that. I got weights in my garage. I've been doing that fairly. Like I'm doing at least 3 days a week. You know.
Perfect.
And I'd rather be more. I'd rather be at least 5. But the problem is when I'm done exercising, you know, the rest of the day it's like, man, we got nothing to do. So let's just eat. Let's chocolates and everything that's all the fatty and bad foods. And I had Mountain Dew yesterday for Mania, and it's just.
See, that's my. I've been doing pretty good on the eating wise. Clear out most of the garbage that I really enjoy, like brownies or candy bar, anything like that.
Yeah.
But as you can see, soda's my vice. And man, it's just especially with Mania. It's like I'm not even counting. It's like Dr. Pepper.
You're like won a match. I'm
a chain smoker with like Dr. Pepper. It's I'm yelling at the TV as I'm taking my drinks. So it's been bad, but I'm like I got my garage set up pretty decent. I've got some Olympic style weights in there, a couple different bars, so I've got a decent setup.
Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm out about 2 to 3 days a week, really good, and then those other days I pick up weights for a couple minutes, and I end up getting distracted by something with the kids home or something.
Yeah,
it's
it's tough.
I gotta go take a break for this, and then I don't come back, and so I'm trying to get to that. That 5 to 6 days a week with uninterrupted time.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm with you.
All right. Let's get back on track. Tangent City #1 there.
Right.
Next match was the IC title match between Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan. I personally wasn't a huge fan of the booking of this match when it came to the fact that Sami was just running from Daniel Bryan the whole time. I know they're telling a story there and making Sami like the chicken shit heel. I'd rather at WrestleMania see a better, like just a solid match. Not that their match was bad, but I just didn't like the style and the direction they chose to go with. Now I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying I wanted to see, because I know both these guys can go.
Right.
And so I was hoping to see something different. I'm not saying what they did was wrong or bad. It's just not what I was hoping for. And then Sami pulls out the win. What I was also really hoping for was a turn by Gulak. And once again, I'm not saying they had to do it, but I was like hoping for it, and I didn't get it. So I got my hopes up and then was let down. I don't know. What did you think of the match?
I was kind of with you. Not so much on the. I can see where you're disappointed with how both those guys can go, and I was expecting a turn as well, and I'm thinking that maybe they definitely want the crowd reaction.
Yeah, but
so it's like, okay, well let's wait till SummerSlam or something like that, to where they get the big, oh my God, did he why would you do this to him kind of thing, reaction from the fans. But I was with you on that. He ran from him quite a bit, and then all of a sudden it was like, I don't remember what I was doing, but all of a sudden I kind of took my attention away, and I turned back, and my kids telling me like, "Oh, Sami just won." It was like,
yeah,
what? It was so quick. I almost missed it, or I did miss it. I almost missed the celebration of it. Everything was so fast.
Yeah,
and
it ended pretty abruptly.
I was a little disappointed that those guys. It's one. Those are those two guys who, depending on, it doesn't matter where they're at on the card. When those guys are going to go, you're usually going to get a pretty decent match.
Mm-hmm.
To have them together, it was kind of one of those, man, this could be a sleeper that no one's going to talk about, as far as the promotion goes, but it could definitely be one of the ones by the end of the night you're like, oh, this was by far and away the best match. It was great. But it didn't, didn't really happen.
Yeah, so it was fine. It served its purpose. The story they were trying to tell got told.
Right.
There's no mistake in that. And then Sami retains. I'm glad Sami retained. I'd like to see his faction continue to go and see if maybe they add people, see what they can do with it.
Sure.
So we'll see. We'll see where that goes. Next match on the card we got to talk about. I'm gonna switch to me real quick. SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, ladder match. So that was exciting. I'm glad they had that element to the match to add a little excitement. I'm a notorious spot junkie. I love a good story in a match. Those make great matches, but I also love matches where there's just spot fest. Just constant things going crazy. This match was okay. It served, like, once again, kind of served its purpose. Nothing super crazy. It was weird that it's for the tag titles, but because Miz was sick, they did it one-on-one. You shouldn't really need to complain about that, so I won't. But maybe this would have been better served by just being taken off the card. What do you think?
Yeah, it was kind of strange. It wasn't the match was bad by any means, but for the tag titles, and I don't know if maybe that was in the back of my head. It was, it's for the tag titles, but the tag partners aren't there, kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a tag title match with only singles, so.
Yeah, and I'm with you. I understand why they did what they did. And then I was really looking forward to all 6 of those guys. And maybe it was just my disappointment.
And they could have done a lot more, yeah.
Yeah, very, very much so. But I don't know. I'm kind of with you. It had some good spots in it. John Morrison is just such an underrated dude. Just the athletic parkour stuff he does is just.
It can be insane, yeah.
He's up there with Ricochet, and it's just like just defies the laws of physics. The kind of crazy stuff he does.
Yeah.
And so it's always fun to watch. But yeah, I was a little disappointed, hoping for all 6 of those guys to go.
Yeah. What did you?
It is. So you work with what you got.
Yeah. What did you think of Kofi's hair?
I don't know what to think of Kofi's hair. It's crazy.
Oh man, and I've got nothing against the color. I got nothing against those colors. I got nothing against the cotton candy Easter looking colors.
Right.
It just didn't look good on Kofi, and this I was like, oh my gosh, it was distracting to me.
Yeah.
Anyway, so wasn't a fan, but once again, who cares?
Sure.
Anyways, John Morrison ends up getting the belts down after they were all tugging for that coat hanger. Towards the end there, he falls with the title, so Miz and Morrison retain to nobody's surprise.
One thing I can say about that is that I hate Velcro titles. Especially with the mics the way they were and no crowd. When he fell, you could hear the Velcro. Come on. It's like I remember having Velcro shoes when I was 5. That's about it. Like, other than that, get Velcro out of here.
I used to wear Velcro shoes as not far back as like 5 years ago. I was wearing Velcro shoes. I didn't care. I had a job where I took my shoes off a lot, so instead of doing slip-ons, I did Velcros. Anyways, there we go. We had a gimmick. We had a segment where between matches, Gronk's hosting. What do you think about Gronk? My wife loved Gronk. That's another thing. We should reel back and even talk about the opener of this show as well. We'll do that before we continue on this. My wife loved Gronk. I didn't hate Gronk. I thought it was fine. It didn't bother me. It didn't distract. I've heard other people say they weren't fans. Gronk was there to be Gronk, and I think for the casual fan, he was something that they could, I don't know if the word is relate to, but was familiar. Sure. And it's like, oh, it's Gronk, Yeah.
To pro wrestling.
And I think, he did a fine job. He didn't have to do a whole lot, and he was just kind of there as the hype guy. And he wasn't acting like an ass like he did on the other show where he came out,
I think that's where everybody I think he kind of got everybody's opinion, or he kind of solidified when he did the dancing and all that stuff. Everybody's eyes were already rolling. They were just like, they were ready for more of it, and it was just like, okay, here we go. But if you never saw that, he wasn't bad.
Mm-hmm.
You already have that in your mind, and you're expecting, okay, this is the guy we're gonna get. Then it's like, I can see why they were heavily complaining about him.
Yeah.
When I saw him dance, you got the same complaints from me. On Sunday, I wasn't. The only thing is, you could see and I'm sure you were supposed to, but you could see the writing on the wall for him taking the 24/7, title kind of thing, which was entertaining, but Yeah, he didn't bother me. He was fine.
The opener for the show, the whole Pirates in the Caribbean theme, the Jack Sparrow impersonator. I didn't hate it. I thought it was pretty entertaining. I like when a show, because I feel like the WWE has this history of kind of taking itself a little too serious. And I like it when they're able to kind of poke fun at themselves. And I feel like they did that a little bit here in this opener. While at the same time trying to maintain some semblance of like, the epicness of this event. And I actually enjoyed it. I've heard people. I guess you'll hear people complain about anything.
Sure.
But I like the Jack Sparrow Johnny Depp impersonator.
You know what? I'm a fan of the old. I grew up in the '80s and in the early '90s watching wrestling, and they always have. I was definitely a WWF at the time guy, but we always had the themed different pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Survivor Series was at that time before it was completely and always on a Sunday. It was the Thanksgiving Eve, and it was always about Thanksgiving, And then you had WCW on the other hand. You had Halloween Havoc, and it was Halloween. It wasn't, you had the announcers. I remember Eric Bischoff being dressed as Count Dracula, and it's pro wrestling, and we're supposed to be a sport, but it's pro wrestling.
It's pro wrestling. That's right.
Yeah, and it's like I need it to act like a sport, but I don't need it to act like a sport so much to where it takes everything out of it. I don't mind that. I liked, even though it was Mania and it's the big show, and I get what some people were saying, where it's the big show. Don't do any of that. I was fine with it. I loved the different theme. I loved the pirate ship, different logos. You can see it on my TV in the background.
Yeah, look at you working.
Stuff like that. I was in.
The one thing that was weird for me is like all pirate themed, maybe a little 300, pinch of 300 in there. And then the Weeknd song was just so 80s. It didn't mesh well.
That up because it was funny. I was listening. I had my when I was working out, I had some stuff on Pandora, and it was Today's Hits or whatever the channel is, and that came on maybe 2 weeks ago, and I was like, and I hadn't been watching a lot of wrestling, so I was not aware that this was the theme. And like I said, I grew up in the '80s. I love all the '80s music, and related things. And man, the first time I heard it, I was like, man, this has got a very '80s sound to it. I'm kind of digging it. And then when I turned on the TV and listened to the pre-show and found, that this was the song, I was like, oh, this is great. I'm a total nerd.
Yeah.
This is, but it definitely was. I loved it, but it was a little out of place.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't hate the song either, but it just felt a little out of place. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm a mark. I downloaded it as soon as I found out that it was like that theme. I was like, oh, I got the name for it. And I plugged right into iTunes, and on my phone it went.
Gotcha. All right. So in this little segment between matches, we had R-Truth come up to Mojo and Gronk. Gronk punches R-Truth, going for the pin to get the 24/7 title. Mojo takes him off though, and pins R-Truth himself, becoming the new 24/7 title. Then runs off. Like neither Gronk nor R-Truth seem excessively beat up about it. It's like, oh shucks,
Yeah, right.
So
I'm glad that Mojo is kind of reverted, as annoying as that character once was. I'm glad he's no longer got the pain.
Oh, that was so stupid.
It just was not relate. I didn't believe it as that. That might be a good character, but for him, I didn't buy it. And for him to kind of revert back to this role, I like it.
Yeah,
and I didn't realize
it's
how much
better.
I liked it in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
And with his tagline, the Playboy, and I'm cool with that. I like that too, even though it's kind of over the top. But he's Mojo Rawley.
Yeah. All right. All right. Next match, we had Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, and what was probably the spot of the weekend.
Sure.
So a good match, of course. Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins.
I love watching Kevin Owens matches without any audience because of all the stuff that he says during his matches. It's so funny to hear it all. These guys had a match, ends in a DQ essentially with when Rollins hits KO with that belt, and they were like hitting that chimer. I don't know if those were cute, like edited in, but those were great. Every time they hit somebody with it, the bell rang.
It's fantastic.
And then we have DQ. Then Kevin Owens calls him out, saying, "Hey, it's not going to end in DQ." Then he comes back, and then Kevin Owens hits that elbow drop off of the WrestleMania sign through the announcer's table, and that looked like people. I don't think people consider how high and like what's going on. I'm sure there might have been a crash pad or something, but I was just thinking about jumping over the back of my couch just to sit down into it, just doing a hop over, swing my legs around and go onto the couch. And I had to think about it. I'm like, should I do this? Like, should I try this? I could possibly hurt myself, and here he is jumping off the freaking sign that's like, I don't know what, 15 feet in the air or something like that. It's
from the camera angles, if it wasn't, they did a really good job of making it look like it was a legit at least 15, 20 feet in the air.
Yeah. So, like, man.
I think the camera angle on the replay was better.
From down going up?
No, the one that showed him. From
up and away?
Yes. From almost like with the top angle showing him coming down. That looked rough. Like he really. And maybe there was a crash pad, and that's why they initially didn't show it. I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't know. But it looked great from that angle, and it looked like he destroyed. It looked great.
Yep. And then he took him into the ring, gave him the stunner, got the win, got 2 wins in one night. That should be 2 WrestleMania wins, right?
That's right.
His record should be what is it now? He's like, what was he, 0-2? Now he's like 2-2. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, so solid, like entertaining match. Like I said, that elbow off the WrestleMania sign is probably my spot of the weekend.
Absolutely.
And this is not the only match where that where there was really big spots. But is there anything you wanted to say else about this match? Do you think this feud ends here? Do you think they continue this? I didn't watch Raw once again, so I don't know.
I think it probably does. And the only reason I say that is like I wish I could remember what the line was, but I remember seeing something on it was like the wrap-up show or something where they had said he got his redemption or something to that effect, where it was almost like, okay, after all of this has come, this was the kind of nail in the coffin or the final kind of bow to it, where it made it sound like, oh, this was probably it. Like him. I don't know if I'd want it to be it. I wouldn't mind if they kept going, especially since there's factions, almost factions and whatnot.
Gotcha.
But yeah, I think it's probably it. It could be that's a good fitting for it.
Yeah.
Big spot, WrestleMania. Yeah, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, WrestleMania moment. You said it on the way down. How's this for a WrestleMania moment? Boom. Anyways, all right, let's move on to next match, which was probably the least exciting match of the entire weekend. Goldberg and what's his bucket? Braun Strowman. So it's tough because there's no build going into it. And then, it's the match had just 2 types of moves in it, executed a total of 8 times, and that's it. It lasted like 2 minutes. And we knew what it was going to be. I knew it was going to be quick. And the best part of the match is when Goldberg set up like he was going to go for a jackhammer on Braun Strowman. I laughed. I'm like, what? He's not going to do that.
Like, yeah, we've seen him do it to the Big Show 20 years ago.
Yeah, that wasn't going to happen.
A lot of help on the way up. To get that. But it was almost like I felt like it was what we expected. You kind of knew going in what was going to happen, but I felt they kind of painted themselves into the corner a little bit with Goldberg when he took the belt off the Fiend. It was just like 1 or 2 moves over and over and over and over, and it was kind of like, okay, well, what else? If this is Braun Strowman, what else are you going to do? Like, from a common sense point of view, that formula has got to work. Because what else are you going to do? You're not going. Are you going to arm drag him? You know, what are you going to like get a, you know, grab a headlock and, you know, tackle drop down? Like, what are you going to do? Like, that's not going to. You got to go for big move after big move after big move and get out.
Totally. Give me 1 second here. I'm going to do something real quick with my phone.
Okay.
All right. Just wanted to make sure that everything was still bright. There we go. We're back. Okay. Yeah, so I don't want to talk anymore about this match. Braun Strowman's the new Universal Championship. Hopefully, he can do something exciting with it besides the fact that Goldberg has it, and take it from there. I've heard, you know, someone say to me that it'd be good to have Braun Strowman turn heel now and kind of work Roman Reigns, saying like, "Oh man, you sat out, I showed up, you know, you I don't know if that'd be too close, like too personal, but because of the cancer, but."
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like that was such a long and really good feud before. I'm okay with not revisiting it. I hope they don't. They don't do that. I don't know if they could. Like, and it was especially at a time when Roman was, you know, with anybody over the age of 10, he was not very popular with, and I felt he was really good. And it was, especially in a time where, like I said, he's getting booed and Strowman's on that upward, you know, climb. I don't know if they could top it. It was really good, and I don't know if you put yourself in the position to try to top it, because I don't know if you can. Maybe you can. If you can, hey, great. But man, I don't know. I don't know why. You know what I mean? Like, maybe they're on a shortage of heels, and so it's hard to get a really good hot heel, a bigger turning Strowman. But man, I don't know. I'm not really interested in seeing that.
Yeah,
gotcha.
Was still good. Maybe they give Edge a shot. Who knows? Yeah. Give Edge a run.
Yeah,
we'll see.
I
think it would be so funny to kind of see the reaction on that, because I think Edge might be like a part-timer. And I'd love to see the reaction if he is a part-timer and he does win the belt. I wonder how fans would react, because, you know, with Goldberg and Lesnar, fans get salty because, they're part-timers that never run with the belt. Well, right. Let's see what happens when it's on someone I think they might actually like, and see if they'll accept it. So that would be interesting to see. But I don't know. We'll see what they do with that title on Friday. Let's move to the main event now of the night. And I might catch some flack for what I'm about to say.
Okay.
But that was hands down.
Don't talk about my Undertaker.
What?
I said, don't talk about my Undertaker.
No, here, listen.
Okay.
And this is what I might catch flack for. That was by far my most favorite Undertaker match of all time.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
I loved everything about the Boneyard match, from the entrances to the music they chose to how campy it was to just the dialogue, the length of the match and everything. It didn't go too long. There's a little things I wish they would have done different. Like I feel like Undertaker had like 3 moves, and the one he used the most was the right punch. But AJ showing up in the casket all cocky and happy. I love that. I'm not super into the biker culture, so Taker, showing up, whatever. It was cool. I mean, coming out to Metallica and stuff like that. And I like I said, the dialogue, asking him if Michelle knows he's out this late, and
right.
Just it was good. And then the ending with AJ's hand just sticking out of the dirt. It's one of those things where, like, I loved how different it was, and despite its flaws and its campiness, I feel it made that great for me. Like, I'm so glad they did that, because it was different from everything else. And they're taking advantage of the situation they have where they don't have an audience and trying something different. And I loved it. So that's my my 2 cents so far. I'll let you contribute a little bit to see what you thought. I don't know. You tend to be a little more of a purist. So I don't know if you hated it, but what do you think?
You know, it's funny. I consider myself. I'm with you. I consider myself a little more of a purist, and I'm not really a big fan of the buried alive matches and stuff they had with like the Executioner and then Kane and Mankind and stuff like that.
All that, yeah.
But this one, I enjoyed it a lot. I loved it. AJ was great when he showed up. It was one of those things where like you can kind of predict what's going to happen. Like, you know, it's going to be when the hearse starts pulling up and you're like, oh, this is AJ in here, right? You know? And then when he pops out, you're like, I knew it, but you weren't disappointed. It was one of those things where like, you could see it coming, and it was just gratifying. He sits up with the big grin on his face, and you're like, oh, this guy's such a dirtbag. You know, and you're going, okay, man, just be careful what you wish for. You know, and it's just like, oh, he's such a dirtbag. And then you start hearing, you know, the bike start coming down, and he's like, oh, I hear him. You know, and I know some people were complaining. I had read some stuff on Twitter where they were complaining about the songs, you know, and it wasn't like Kid Rock. And it's like, yeah, but guys, understand, we do, and this is pro wrestling, but we do have copyright laws and different things. Like we may not be able to get access to right away, and it's not like, you know, there are some legal avenues. What? You know, right? There's some legal things we have to take care of in order. We can't just play Kid Rock's music at the drop of a hat. Like, we've got to, you know, but playing Metallica was perfect. It fit the character. It fit the scene and everything. It was great. You know, and I love the way it was edited, if you will. It hid his weaknesses.
Yeah.
You could still see he had the limp, but it was more predominant after he'd been like worked over. And so it was like, it made perfect sense. You could see like on his choke slams, he wasn't having to get anybody super high. He wasn't having to help anybody up.
Yeah.
It hit all the weaknesses.
Yeah.
It on all the strength. It was great. The only disappointing part that I saw was, I mean, I'm an idiot for getting on Twitter right beforehand, but somebody had posted, okay, well, you know, AJ's got the OC, and what happens if Kane and Sting show up to help out the Undertaker? And I'm sitting there marking out on my phone going, oh, that would be great. How awesome would that be? And then maybe it leads to something else, you know. And so I'm thinking, oh no, Kane and Sting are going to show up. How awesome would that be? And so by the time everything was said and done, that didn't happen, and it kind of deflated me a little bit.
Gotcha.
But as far as the match goes, it was fantastic. I loved it.
Well, how great would it have been if, like, you know, Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson show up, they get the guitar, like when they show up, and like it would have been so great if Taker would have been like, he turns to AJ, I see you brought your good brothers.
Yeah.
I brought my brother too. And Kane shows up. That would have been over the top, man. So big fan service right there.
He had Taker with the shovel. You know, and Taker does the drop into the grave. I thought, okay, here we go. A crow's gonna fly across and land. You know, and I was just like waiting for it. I was like, oh, here we go. You know, like similar to the Crow movie where the crow, like, you know, is like right on the tombstone. You know, and I'm like, oh, here it is. You know, and it doesn't happen. I'm like, come on, just Sting. But I did read that people were really, really hyped because they were going, okay, now this worked. This is a great way to have, you know, Taker, who's obviously got some health issues. I mean, you know, how much has that poor guy been through? You know, and it's like, this is a great way that you can still have him involved, and it looks good. And you know, and some people were putting on the thing like, God, put, you know, Sting and Undertaker, you know, next year in a boneyard, and you can edit stuff that didn't work and just keep nothing but stuff that does work. I thought, And if that was the only drawback I could take is like, I want more of it, and I just hope we get it.
Gotcha. I want more too. I'm part of the, I feel like this is me flexing, but it's not. I'm part of the WWE Fan Council. And so I get emails like almost every week from WWE, like, you know, did you watch Raw? What did you think of this? What was your favorite? What was your least favorite? What could we do better? You know, just kind of stuff like that. And leading up to the WrestleMania, they got one because, you know, they got no audience. They're trying to do what they can. And they sent me a question. One of the things they sent me was they were showing like, hey, we can put fan reaction cams around the screen. So there's like kind of like an audience. Like it would be like you see my screen. Now imagine just frames next to each other all the way around your screen. Just, you know. And then they had it where it's just on the side. They're showing different examples. Hey, we could do this. What do you think of this style? What do you think of this style? Anyways, they asked me at the end. They usually always ask at the end, what's any other input you got? And I'm not saying they did this because of me, but I'm guessing other people said this as well. I said, while you've got no audience, everything that's not a match, make it produced like you would on a TV show. Like, use cuts. We know it's not live. So tape a show. Make it, you know, it could be at some other location, you know, whatever. Just make it more entertaining that way, because when wrestlers come out to deliver dialogue to an empty performance center with nobody there, it looks dumb. It doesn't work, and it falls flat. And we need something like a show to really kind of keep us interested. And I'm not gonna lie, this Boneyard match and the Firefly Funhouse had me drawn in like nothing WWE has done in a long time. I was 100% hooked. I was on the screen. I wasn't looking at my phone to tweet anything. I was hooked. I was completely hooked on those two matches. And I even tweeted, I said, if we could get one pay-per-view a year where every single match on the card is like this, I would love it. As long as they execute it right, that would be so great. Anyways, I'll turn it back over to you.
No, I'm with you. We'll talk a little bit more on the with the John Cena and the Fiend stuff a little bit later.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very different, and I think what you're talking about is I'm agreeing with, especially with the promo style. Not everything. I understand it's an empty arena and you got to do what you got to do, but not everything translates. And this is from somebody whose opinion who's obviously never done this, but I don't know if I would go out there and do. It doesn't always work where you do everything as if the audience was there.
Yeah, exactly.
There, so do something a little different. It's a different situation. Do something a little different, and I'm with you. I liked it.
Yeah. So I can't say that I have a favorite thing from WrestleMania because I had two favorites. I technically had three favorites where I can't really distinguish between the three, and I've already given away the two, and I bet you know what the third one is.
Okay.
But yeah, I loved The Undertaker versus AJ's. I'll go back and watch. Like I said, some people argue that it wasn't even technically a match, but this is by far, and this is including everything he did with Shawn Michaels, everything he did with Triple H, every single one of his previous WrestleMania appearances. The only one that might rival it is Mankind and him in Hell in a Cell, because that was just an insane match. I mean, these might be tied, but I just love it. I love AJ, and I love the way they did this match, and it was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it, 100%. My favorite match of the night by far.
Perfect. I'm with you. It was my favorite match of the night by far and away as well.
Gotcha. All right, let's move on to night 2. Kickoff show: Liv Morgan versus Natalya. Liv Morgan wins. Moving on.
Real quick, I didn't see that coming. It was kind of a throwaway match just to kind of get you hyped and involved. I get it. But man, I thought Natalya for sure. And then it was one of those, I feel ashamed, but it was like, stepped out of the room for a second, came back, and it was like, what? I just
it's over. The ending. Yeah, I did too.
Liv went over, and it was like, oh, well, I get that it's different and there's no crowd, but hey, good for Liv. That's great.
WrestleMania moment win.
One of the hearts at WrestleMania. Like, hey, let's start rolling. You know?
We'll see. We'll see. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves on that one, though.
Sure.
It was a kickoff show. Here we go. First match to kick off the night. This was more in line with what I thought they would do. NXT Women's Championship, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair. I had Rhea winning this match, so I was really surprised when Charlotte Flair picked up the win. A solid match in my opinion. They stuck to a story. They established a story, stuck to it. This match was a little hard to watch without an audience because of how vocal their selling was. There was a lot of yelling. Like my wife was like, she was like, man, we got to turn the volume down. I don't want the neighbors to hear this because I don't know what they'll think we're watching. And so, but besides that, solid match. I think there was a cut in this match too. But overall, you know, Charlotte is great. Rhea's up and coming. She's doing fantastic. But a lot of people probably pissed that Flair picked up the win. But she did, and I'm interested to see what they do with it.
No, I'm with you. I thought Rhea was going to get the win as well. But again, I'm not mad about it. It'll be interesting to see where they go with it and how this feud's got to continue, or something along the lines has got to continue with NXT, and to have her back in NXT, at the very least, doing something with Rhea Ripley, got to do something with somebody, and to have her back there is fantastic. I think it's great. It doesn't do anything except to build the brand up more.
Give it some star power.
Yeah, I thought Ripley was going to take it, but I'm with you. I thought it was super vocal, to the point where I was. It kind of took me out a few times. Where it was like, we didn't need it. It was overly loud, and I was like, some of the stuff was just it sounded like they were just repeating almost the same sound effects over and over. And I was like, I don't need the overt selling. It's to where almost like I was almost out of it, to where the selling was too much. So I was like, okay, I don't know if this hurts, because I know that it doesn't hurt at the level that she's saying it does. Kind of thing. But no, it was still a good match.
Mm-hmm.
Just maybe a little too vocal for me.
Gotcha.
But I'm interested in where they go from here.
Me too. So, moving on to the next match, which I actually am a little more positive about than I thought I would be. Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley. I didn't think, like, when I saw this match was on the card, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Why do they need this? I didn't even know these guys were feuding, but it was great because they're essentially setting up the splitting of Bobby and Lana. And, you know, I was suspicious they were going to get to that eventually, because they've kind of moved away from that Rusev storyline because Rusev's been off TV. During the match, when Lana told Lashley, no, don't do that, do the spear, I was like, that's when I knew for sure. I'm like, yes, they're sowing the seeds of disagreement and dissent between the two, because I knew exactly what was going to happen, that he was going to go for that spear at her instruction, get black masked, and then eventually blame her for that call, which I didn't watch Raw, so I don't know what happened yet, but you know, that's obviously where they're headed.
Right. No, I'm with you. And just to back up just a second. Did you see the I don't know if it was what you would call it, the jacket or the coat?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that was amazing. And I thought, crowd or no crowd, that's WrestleMania attire right there. That looked amazing. That made him look. That made his entrance where he pops up. That made it look great. It was different, but fit his character perfectly. I thought that was insane. It was great. And then I'm with you with and I'm glad with where they're doing the split. I hate I'm the 80s and 90s, and I like the slow burn of the split. Like the Rocker split was the greatest thing. It started at like Survivor Series, and it didn't end until almost, I think it was Royal Rumble. So they had like a good 4 months of a wedge kind of driving in between them, and you see it, and you didn't want it to happen because the Rockers were so awesome, but you knew it was probably coming. And it was I like that because I'm glad they didn't have something happen between Lashley and Lana right then and then just break up. I'm glad that it was kind of like it happened, and you see Lashley kind of just give her like a dirty look, like, yeah, this is, you understand this is your fault, but it didn't explode right then. They can continue to kind of where it's like, okay, here's the planting, and we know like you made a mistake, and now that we're going to build on that mistake, and it's going to eventually go where, hey, I'm done, I can't take it anymore. This is your fault, and whether that this is your fault comes from either Lashley or Lana, I don't know. But I'm glad that it's gonna unvolve in a different or unfold in a few different steps.
Yep. Speaking of, as you brought up Aleister Black's jacket, I also thought it was really cool. He usually has really cool jackets that he busts out for takeovers or pay-per-views. My wife, on the other hand, hated it. She said he looked like a hobo who had cut up trash bags and put them over himself. That's what she said.
Oh, I love that.
Oh, it was hilarious when she said that. All right, now we're moving on to one of my top 3 here.
Okay.
This is probably this is going to be my top 5 favorite WrestleMania moments of all time. Otis and Dolph Ziggler. We finally got the payoff.
Yes,
I mean,
we did.
My power's down. We're gonna have to go faster on this, but I'm at 20% on my battery now. Anyways, the match was fine. Nothing spectacular. We got the worm, whatever. We got Mandy coming out, slapping Sonya for betraying her. She clocked her pretty good too. It was a solid.
You heard it, and I'm sure maybe there was some creative editing. But if there wasn't, it was great because it was solid. She lit into it.
Oh, and speaking of creative editing, you heard the punching sound effects in the Boneyard match, right?
No, I did
you
not.
You did it? Oh my gosh, they're in there. You got to go back and watch it. Anyways, so she clocked her good, and then Otis picks up the win over Ziggler, and then they finally kiss in the ring. That was out of the whole WrestleMania weekend. That was my biggest pop. I only had two pops, and that was the biggest one. I popped really hard for that. I was so happy to finally get that moment. And I know it sounds really dumb, but when they play the package before the match happens, when Otis walks into that restaurant and drops the roses, when he sees Dolph with Mandy, I feel it. I feel it in my chest and in the back of my throat. I feel it. Anyways, and so I was just really happy when Otis finally got the kiss. He gives us hope. We know it's all gonna eventually come undone, but anyways.
Right. No, it was a good little breath of kind of a release or a little bit of a breather. Had not quite so serious moment. Had some good fun stuff, and it was done well.
Yep. All right. Let's move on. Edge versus Randy Orton and a last man standing match. This one went all over the place. It was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I think it's because they did a couple of cuts and they were able to pause and come in. I think every time you saw the camera guy running up to the match, I think that was the cut. Anyways, but yeah, they had some pretty cool spots. Nothing I felt insane. I feel like Gargano and Tommaso did it better a couple of weeks ago on NXT, but they did still have some really good spots. I was kind of surprised that they went with Edge hitting, Edge hitting Randy Orton with the concerto, because I feel like that's such a heel thing to do that I thought maybe Edge would, do better than that. Does that make sense?
Sure. Okay.
And so, but he did go to that level. I'm wondering if they're gonna work that angle now, like Edge, I got you, Randy's, I got you there, Edge, I got you to become who you need to be, to be here. I don't know, but it was a solid match though, a little long, but it worked.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it was a little bit longer than what I thought, and but I liked it because it looked like a street fight.
Uh-huh.
It wasn't different wrestling moves in a weight room or in a backstage area. It was a fight. And there was a lot of punching, a lot of kicking, a lot of throwing through things or throwing into things. It reminded me of what was going to happen if people got into a fight in those areas. There wasn't, nobody was doing a body slam onto something or a hip toss onto something. Well, it was right, and I liked it.
What about Edge falling from the ceiling when he hung on to the fence, the chain link fence, and just dropped like 3 feet? Do you remember that part on the Randy Orton?
Yeah, he was sitting on the chair or whatever it was.
I think he might have been on the table, but like they were on the table, that big steel table in the office room, and the top of the ceiling is like a chain link fence, and Edge just kind of climbs on top of it and just falls like 3 feet onto him. It was silly.
The other weird part was where Orton was. I think he was sitting in a chair.
Oh yeah.
And
weight bench, I think it was.
Like on the pull-up section of the rack.
Yeah.
And kind of one of those things where he like projected himself forward, and I don't know if he thought he was closer, but he kind of just. I don't even know what he did. He did like the Rey Mysterio thing where like he jumps and like legs go over the guy kind of thing, but it just
didn't look good
to me as like awkward and kind of. Well, that really didn't do any damage.
Yeah, what were you doing, Ed?
Sat on the guy from a foot, in the air. So that was kind of strange. But other than that, no, I liked it. I liked
the elbow drop was great.
I don't even know where exactly it happened or what caused it to happen. But when Orton goes down and they're fighting on top of the truck, where later the concerto would happen. Where Orton almost goes to the edge, like my palms are getting sweaty. I'm like, oh, he's not going to fall off the side of the truck, is he? Because you can, with the camera angle they had, you could see where it was like just the table of snacks or whatever was down there. And it was like, oh, he's gonna die if he falls off of there. And so like, they had me there where he's kind of getting close to the edge. I'm like, oh, don't let him slide off. Don't let him slide off. And of course he doesn't. And they finish up there. And, no, I thought it was good. I liked it. I liked where you could kind of see Edge, in his own head debating.
Yeah. Do I do this?
How far do I want to go?
Yeah.
You brought my family into it. You did this after I was gone for 9 years, and I never thought I'd return. And you almost took it away from me. And you've now put me here. But do I want to take that step and do this?
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was done great. When he turned on the waterworks, it was great.
Yeah, he did a good job. Yeah.
I thought that was probably as far as the live matches, definitely. I think that was the best match of the weekend for me.
Gotcha. It was a good one. There's some good spots. Just a little long. But yeah, I was just surprised they went with the concerto. So we'll see what happens with that. So there's some answers. We need some answers. Edge, why? Edge, why? All right. Moving on. We got to mention in between matches, Gronk won the 24/7 title like we all knew he would. So it is what it is. It doesn't offend me anymore because who cares about the 24/7 title? And then I also want to breeze past, for time's sakes, the Raw Tag Team Championship, Street Profits, Angel Garza, and Austin Theory. Street Profits retain. Fine match, just, nothing.
And it was, they had, with Andrade out, there was they had to supplement the other guy in, and, with Austin Theory in, and so it was just kind of, it was there.
Yeah. And then that brings us to the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Where we had Bayley, Sasha Banks, Lacey Evans, Tamina, and Naomi. And I loved how much they were trying to work up, Tamina, she's going to be the wild card in this match. And she's the first one eliminated. Like, Michael Cole, you're not fooling anybody, bro.
By having everybody team on her.
Yeah.
But didn't they do that in the Royal Rumble, too, to get her out?
I don't know.
Okay, come on, let's do
right.
Let's get a little more creative.
Yeah, so Tamina's gone first. Naomi's second. I don't know how she got eliminated. I stopped paying attention. And then it came down to Lacey, Sasha, and Bayley, and I thought that they were going to eventually bring it down to just Sasha and Bayley, or somehow Sasha was going to turn on Bayley.
Right.
But no, Sasha gets eliminated by the women's right, and Bailey didn't do a whole lot to get over there to help her friend when she kind of could have, and I'm like, oh, that's where they're gonna sow the seed of dissent is Bailey not helping, and then Sasha came back out and helped Bailey win, and raised her hand and everything. I mean, you got to think this is leading somewhere, but I feel like they've been going down this road for so long that I'm just wondering when they're finally going to pay this turnoff,
Yeah, it's funny when I saw it was down to the three of them when it was Sasha, Bailey, and the women's right, or excuse me, when it was Lacey Evans. And she hit Sasha with the women's right. I thought, oh, this is it. I've been waiting for this forever. It's so good. And then when you see her after she gets pinned and she's out, you can just kind of catch glimpses of her every now and then where she's down on the ground, recuperating, and I'm going, oh, this is going to be great. She's going to distract or cause something to happen to where Bailey gets hit with the women's right. Lacey Evans goes over, wins the title in the process, and now you have that big feud, that final payoff to where they get together, and Sasha and Bailey are going to work together in that feud, and then all of a sudden she goes in. Boom, hits the what is it, the backstabber or whatever it is,
yeah.
on Lacey Evans and gets the count. And it was just like, oh, okay. Well, this has got to lead somewhere, but I thought I booked it pretty well in my head. So,
you armchair booked the hell out of it, and they decided to go with some other. What are they thinking?
And so that happens. I'm like, okay, well, as long as they still eventually get there, I'm in. But gosh, it was like 2007
taking a long time
when they first started to do this. I hope it eventually does get there.
Yeah, me too. I'm hoping as well. We'll see. All right, let's move on to my third. My top three of the weekend. Firefly Funhouse match, which I was really looking forward to after the Boneyard match. Speaking of which, we didn't mention how Luke Gallows got thrown off a roof, so I hope he's okay.
Time again, so.
It was funny. Killian Dane actually sent out a tweet. He's like, "Hey, has anyone checked in on Luke Gallows? I'm pretty sure he got thrown off a roof last night." He tweeted that out. It was great.
Did anybody happen to take a peek to see how he's doing?
Yeah. Anyway, John Cena versus The Fiend. If you were expecting a match, you were sorely disappointed in this. If you were expecting something entertaining and out there, it was great. Like I loved how wild and creative they got with this. And my second pop of the night came from this match. Sorry, my second pop of the weekend came from this match. And it was the moment where John Cena and Bray Wyatt are in the ring. They're redoing the original Cena, and he goes for the ruthless aggression. Then he takes the swing at Bray Wyatt, and he ducks it and pops up and says, "You can look, but you can't touch." Yeah. I popped, like, I was like, oh my god. Yes. It was so good. Oh, I loved that so much. That made me so happy, that spot. And that wasn't the only spot too. The Vince McMahon puppet saying this is such good shit was good. I didn't pop as hard for that, but oh my gosh. That was like, I'm normally not like a huge Bray Wyatt guy. But I loved this match and what they did, and that's gonna be one of my favorite. Once again, I don't know, I'm weird. Like I'm a pro wrestling fan, but I like things to be. I'm not a traditionalist like you. 80s wrestling. To be honest, for the most part, it kind of bores me a little bit outside of the personalities of the wrestlers themselves. The personalities are great. The matches to me, not as exciting. Yeah, I know, right? And I'm going to probably catch flack for that too. I'm not saying they're bad. They just don't do it for me as a wrestling fan. Sure. I like this. This is different. This is entertaining to me. And I enjoyed, everything from the different Cenas, those personalities they had when they were behind. I'm at 10% now. We got to make this quick. I love Cena doing the bicep curls and everything about this match was great. I wasn't expecting anything logical, reasonable. I was just expecting to be entertained, and so I won in this match. So, what do you think?
It's hard to say, man, because yesterday, my feelings about it yesterday and today are kind of different. When I watched it yesterday, I was expecting a match, and I was sorely disappointed. And by the time when it was over, I thought it was entertaining. And then when it was over, I was like, wait, what? And I was like, there's no match? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then I started reading some tweets later on about how positive a reaction it was getting. And I was going, man, did I just overthink? Like, what's going on? It's not what I saw. And so a few hours before we did this, I went back and rewatched it, knowing that I was not going to get a match. And then kind of went, okay. Well, yesterday, I thought it was just a too long vignette to introduce the match. And I was like, okay, get to the match. I want to see what's going on. And then it never came.
Yeah.
And so when I rewatched it today, I had a much higher level of appreciation for it.
Good.
I still wish they would have done something, and I hope they do something with it later. I would like to see those two fight, but I'm much more on board with it than I was yesterday.
Gotcha.
I just don't think I got yesterday, unfortunately. And now today, after realize, okay, there's not going to be a match, let's just see what we got. And it was much more entertaining. And I got to pick up on a few things that I just didn't see, like couple of the different, like with the new word life chains that he had, some stuff that I hadn't seen yesterday where I was starting to pop on a little bit. So
I need some of those.
After watching it again today, I was like, okay, I'm okay with it. I'm good.
Gotcha. Yeah, I loved it. So anyways, I can't recommend it enough. All right, in interest of time, and then I've got probably like 5% left. Last match, Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre. Knew it was going to be short and sweet. Mostly Claymores and F5s and a few Germans in there. And we've got a new WWE champion, Drew McIntyre. I'm happy he's got it. Brock did a good job, served his purpose. It just seems like we can't get good matches out of these guys anymore, like Lesnar and Drew. It's just Lesnar and Goldberg and whatnot. It's just quick. Maybe next time they consider doing a gimmick match like with Lesnar, so they can cut, take pauses, stuff like that. Anyways, so Drew's champion. Are you happy with it? And who do you see him feuding with? I need to know that.
I love it. I saw an interview yesterday morning on the Bump where he had talked about. He said he always had time for his fans, even when he was the bad guy kind of thing. And I loved it because he said that he always had time for his fans because all he was a fan who just took his obsession a little bit too far.
Gotcha.
And so that was the only way he could get it. He just got to be too obsessed, so he became a wrestler kind of thing. It was like, it was awesome. He just came across really, really well. If you weren't already a fan, after seeing this interview, especially as big as Mark as we are, I don't know how you couldn't have been.
Yeah.
So it really tapped off. I already wanted him to win. And kind of going to, but by the time everything was done, I was like, man, I'm glad he's got it. I don't know who they're going to put him in the ring with next, but I don't care. I'm with him as the champion. I love it. He's credible. He's credible as a guy who could beat Lesnar just physically.
He's huge.
You look at him and you're like, okay, well, Brock Lesnar really is the, not to be cliche, but is a beast. You look at him and you're like,
cliche.
okay, well, an absolute monster as well.
Yeah.
So if there's something who could beat a guy who looks like this, it's this guy. And so I'm completely cool with it. I'm glad for him. I wish he could have got the WrestleMania pop with the fireworks and all that good stuff. But hey, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Hopefully he'll get something at SummerSlam or further if it's necessary. But yeah, I'm with it. I'm glad he's got it.
Yeah, and no one more deserving. He came in the first time in WWE, his first run. Even I thought this guy. I don't see what they see in him. He's just kind of bland. Didn't do it for me at all. Then he leaves. Really, some people get kicked out. It's like, that's it. I've given up. I tried. I didn't make it. No, he worked even harder. Got freaking swole. Right. Came back. Worked his way up. He didn't get to bypass the NXT. They put him back in NXT. He got freaking. He worked his way so hard, and he definitely deserves it. Definitely looks like a champion. I'm excited to see what they do with him as well. So I'm happy for him. All right, and then that was it. That was WrestleMania. It ends right there. So what grade would you give the show? Real quick. A, B, C, D.
You know what? As a show overall, I give it
both nights. A B?
For the circumstances, I would give them an A.
Gotcha.
Knowing what I know, I thought they hit it out of the park. I was not expecting much. They made it didn't feel like WrestleMania going in. By the time everything was said and done by night 2, it felt to me like WrestleMania.
Gotcha.
They did a fantastic job. B, not knowing what was going on, knowing what's going on, A+ all the way. Great job.
I won't disagree with you too much. I think I just stick with like a B-. That's it. Like B, you know, I mean, I can't. Yeah, it's hard to say because I had some great, like a lot of the matches I didn't care a whole lot about, but the ones that I did were so good. It's like they're skewed so far that the average, you know, I don't know, like anyways, because the matches I didn't care about weren't bad, but the matches I loved were that great. It's just gonna skew that whole average towards like a B or something like that, or even up to an A. So, anyways, but yeah, great show. I was happy with it. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. You ready to wrap this up before my phone dies?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, go ahead and let the good marks know where they can find you on the social media sphere, Randy.
You haven't heard it for a while, but you can find me at the Superfan on Twitter. So hit me up. We'll chat wrestling. Friday the 13th, anything 80s, all
video
that good
games,
stuff,
nerd culture, pops.
That's right. We'll talk.
All right, and for the rest of you marks, make sure to follow the MWO on our social media pages at MWO4Life on Twitter and Instagram. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and to our podcast wherever you listen to your fine podcast. And make sure to go grab yourself some MWO merch on our Pro Wrestling Tee store at prowrestlingtees.com/MarkWorldOrder. And that way you can rep the MWO wherever you go, brother. Superfan, it's great to have you back on the show. I'm hoping it won't be too long before we have you back on again. For all the marks listening at home, we love marking out with you guys, and we will see you all again real soon. Have a good one. Hey guys, this is to determine who won our WrestleMania contest. I've got a wheel here, with all the participants of this contest that we did for WrestleMania. All 4 of you who followed all the instructions. We got Josh, Tripp, James, and Davey. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one wheel a spin, and we'll find out who will be going home with an MWO t-shirt from ProWrestlingTees.com. I'm going to give it a spin. Oh. There we go. Well, that's a good spin. It's Price is Right worthy right there. See where it goes. James. Congrats, James. You are the lucky winner of our contest giveaway. So I will be getting you a shirt, I guess. Go ahead to prowrestlingtees.com/MarkWorldOrder. You can peruse all the different styles we got there. Just DM me on Instagram or Twitter, whatever. Let me know which one you like, and I'll get that ordered for you. So congrats. Thanks to all those who participated. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. You guys have a good one.